is the state match, the big clash between South Australia and Victoria. Sevens Big League will bring you the entire game in replay at 10 o'clock on Wednesday night. Don't miss that, it will be great action. The second game we're going to show you is the one from the Glenelg Oval. A lot of fanfare and trumpet about the performance of Peter Carey in reaching that magnificent milestone, and I think a lot of people were wondering whether the Glenelg team as a unit would rise to the occasion. Glenelg's form hasn't been that good of late, beaten convincingly by Central District last week, and this was a needle game for Glenelg, and was that magnificent achievement of Peter Carey enough to get them up? I'm sure that it was enough of a needle for Paul Weston to get his side up, and it was a very torrid first half of football. Let's pick it up now at the commencement of the third quarter, down at the Bay Oval. The Bay's leading by 19 points.
Glenelg by 14 points. West Torrens scored 2 early goals in the second term, but the Bays came back. At half-time, they have a 14-point lead. Christensen threw out the handball. That's the way the umpire saw it. The free kick will go the way of Glenelg. In fact, the free kick will go the way of Peter Carey. Club game 400 for the big fellow. The big torpedo punt into the forward line. On the back of that kick was Craig Woodlands, and he has the mark. He read the ball much better than Harper. Now Woodlands an opportunity of scoring goal number 3. He already has 2 goals, kicked in the first term. Missed a relatively easy shot during the second quarter. Now lines them up deliberately. That one also is offline. 2 goals, 2 to Craig Woodlands.
Well, there certainly has been some rather easy shots missed in this game. The Tigers now lead by 15 points. It's Harper to bring the ball back into play. Grandstand side. He looked for Lindsay, but Lindsay didn't have the pace. Marshall did. David Marshall, normally a brilliant kick. A little too far out, decides to pass. Weston tries to chop off the lead. The ball fell short. This allows Pisani in. He's caught on the left boot. He's tackled by Chickwitten, and the ball goes out of bounds on the full.
Well, Kim, that should never have happened. There were 3 West Torrens players there. All one of them had to do was the shepherding, and nobody bothered.
Chickwitten puts the ball to the head of the square. Western front position, couldn't take it. It's taken off hands by Woodlands, and he snapped another one. Well, he can certainly kick the hard ones. That's his 3rd goal. He's now kicked 3 goals, 2. And we've played 2 minutes of this 3rd quarter.
And that should never have been allowed to happen for the Glenelg side. And as I said earlier, all the West Torrens players had to do on that occasion was shepherd for Paul Pisani, and they would have been clear of defence. Instead, defence turned into attack for the Bays. They pushed the ball into the forward zone. Woodlands read the ball off the pack and snapped shortly for his 3rd. Good play to Woodlands, and I think West Torrens backline need to tighten up.
And we've lost another ball here at Glenelg Oval. 57 plays 36. Laurie Argent to bounce. Lindsay opposed to Carey. Lindsay won the tap down towards Bruce Lindsay. He's been quiet today. His kick was misdirected and went straight to Ross Gibbs. He picks up a lot of easy kicks, Ross Gibbs, from being in the right place at the right time. Out towards McTavish. Kicked that round his body. Robson met it full on. The soccer off the ground was illegal, and Robson's been awarded a free kick. Plays on to Enright. Enright in turn to Harper. Harper drives long looking for Eichner. He couldn't take the mark. Been well picked up by David Kern. Back towards Robson. Seabohm up high, but a fine mark to John Harper. And he also receives a 15-metre advantage as David Marshall came in late. Harper drives to the outer wing looking for Chris Lindsay. Couldn't take that. Eichner off hands is well tackled. And Laurie Argent will bounce on that outer wing.
Eichner's had a good battle today with David Kernahan on centre wing. Recruited originally to West Torrens from Sturt. One of their better players this season. Chris Lindsay took front position and got the ball down. Morford it was who got out the handball. Then finally it came out to Hodgson. Hodgson drives long. Fatia's there for West Torrens. He's back on that one. Gibbs gathers in the ball. Fumbles and falls at the crucial stage. Now Foot. Snap at goal. It's coming around too. Don't tell me he's kicked it. Foot from the boundary line has bottled it right through the middle. Great goal to David Foot. The Eagles advance to 6 goals, 6, 42. Trailing the Bays, 8 goals, 9, 57.
Well, in fact, I'd say that's a brilliant goal. It's one of the best goals I've seen for a long time. Foot had to work hard. He had to dodge his way between players. Then he was tucked away on the boundary line. He snapped that ball back over his left shoulder, and somehow that ball just boomeranged back through the goals. And that should give the Eagle players and supporters a little bit of heart.
They now trail by 15 points. Chris Lindsay and Carey at it again. Lindsay with the tap. Budarick couldn't take the ball. Now an opportunity for Morfitt. He can't get it out, and the ball up will take place. The umpires today, Michael Abbott and Laurie Argent, have let the game flow pretty well. Argent with the bounce. Carey, the big thump forward. Budarick has the ball under plenty of pressure. Tackle when not in possession. The free kick's going the way of that young man. He started the game in fine form. He kicked 2 goals, 1 in the first term. He drove the ball deep into the attacking zone in the second quarter, but he couldn't score. And now from 35 metres out directly in front, an opportunity of his third for the day. Deliberately lines up the goals. It looks good off the boot. It is. Craig Budarick's third. Glenelg 9 goals, 9, 63. Torrens 6 goals, 3, 42. Played just on 5 minutes into the third term. Tap went to ground. It was Eichner over the top of Kernahan. No free kicks for the umpire, and now a ball up. In fact, it's West Torrens 6 goals, 6, 42. Trailing Glenelg 9 goals, 9, 63. Margin now 21 points. The Eagles need to push forward. Carey again with the tap. Baker tried to burst his way through. He tunnelled it forward to Bruce Lindsay. The Eagle captain was tackled strongly by Hodgman and taken to ground. At least 25, 30 players in that centre square, bottled around the ball. So a congested area in the centre. Carey down to Eichner, tackled strongly by Murphy, another ball up. And Kim, certainly neither side allowing the opposition to get clear at any stage.
It's been a fairly tight game. There hasn't been a lot of pretty football. There's certainly been some hard football. We've seen some good marks, some good bumps, and some indifferent kicking. This time it's Cruz. He's been quiet. His kick is long. Harper couldn't take that. Salisbury in there. A long way down the ground. Perhaps he's playing on the ball at the moment.
Well, he started the game on a half-back flank, and I don't think he was able to get himself into the game, so it may well be that Corns is giving an opportunity to have a run. Lindsay and ruck. In fact, Weston gathers the ball in. Onto the left boot he goes. He's played a good game today, Weston. Important game against his old club. Foot and Grenvold go at it. Grenvold comes out with the ball. Hodgman, left foot, short. McDermott. McDermott again short. On the lead was Seabohm. Robson got off the handball looking for Geyer, who paddled it forward to Christensen. In turn, Pisani with a bounce. You'll need to go long, looking for Hodgson. Murphy from behind, used his body well. Winton, the handball over the top to Grenvold. Plays off their half-back line, through centre-half forward. Cruz overran the ball, now Enright. Short, well-placed to Hodgson. Good play Enright, he looked to play on Hodgson. Now Grenville Dietrich on the lead. Smothered off the mark, however, by Murphy. Bad play by Hodgson. McTavish an opportunity. Wide, Donovan under pressure from Lindsay, shot off the handball. McTavish didn't want that one, Bruce Lindsay did. The Eagle captain dives on the ball and has forced a ball up.
Well, that was good pressure by Bruce Lindsay. But we've seen it in recent weeks where the Eagles break down across that half-forward line, or when bringing the ball into attack, the use of the ball is very poor. Hodgson kicking into the man on the mark on that occasion. Now the ball punched forward. Morfitt back there. He's had 2 bites at it. Tried to get it out towards Pisani. Pisani with the left foot kick down looking for Taylor. Grenville pushed him in the back, and Laurie Argent that was there to see it all. Well, Kevin Taylor, he's kicked 2 goal 2, in fact. 1 goal 2. He's about 45 metres out. The distance should not be a worry. But Let's see what he can do with the accuracy. Starts it off to the left, swings it back nicely. He's popped that one through for his second. The Eagles march on to 7 goals, 6, 48 points, trying to get back into this game at the Bay. And Glenelg 9-9-63.
Well, I was about to say that Kevin Taylor starts off running to his left when he lines up the goals, and perhaps that's one of his problems with his inaccuracy. Kicked 2 goals 5 last week, now has 2 goals 2 to his name today, but he does tend to run wide to the left as he lines up the goal, but that one came back beautifully.
Carey, strong body work, couldn't quite get the kick away. The ball punched forward by Pisani. Carey at the bottom of the pack again. Certainly is a big occasion for Peter Carey. Number of players in that centre square. Weston up high. It was an educated tap down towards Christensen. He tried to get it to Lindsay. Appleton's onto the ground. He's in there fighting hard. McTavish got the handle out towards Hodgson. Hodgson spears out a pass looking for Dietrich. He couldn't take the mark. Gibbs back there. So too is Grenbold. Fine tackle, Taylor. Holding the ball. Well, some desperate work in the Torrens forward line. I thought the Bays were going to get out of trouble again. Tackle applied by Kevin Taylor. Kevin Taylor about 13 metres out, directly in front. And I shouldn't say this, but there's no way he should miss this. He's kicked 2 goals 2. 1 in the first quarter, 1 in the third. Now he's kicked 2 in the third, so the Eagles move on to 8-6, 54 points. They trail by only 9 points now. The Bays are on 9-9-63.
The Eagles have 3 goals this term. The Bays have only 2. It's been Kevin Taylor doing the damage in the forward line. You're quite right, Kim. I thought they were going to get out of trouble, the Bays, but a strong tackle was applied on Grenbold. And Kevin Taylor won himself a free kick. 2 goals in 2 minutes to Kevin Taylor, and now the Eagles trail by only 9 points.
Carey and Hodgman in the square. Certainly is some football talent out there. The ball comes forward and McDermott trying to burst his way through. Now the ball's taken by Cruz. It's a mammoth kick forward. Robson front position again. Couldn't control that one. This allows Seabone with a chance. He's lost his footing. Pisani comes through. This Torrens side looking more desperate. The ball over the top to Appleton. Out wide he finds Hodgson. Hodgson thought about it, but Carey was on him like a ton of bricks. Back to Lindsay. The captain has time to steady. His kick on the way. Oh, he's blasted that one. It's gone out of bounds on the full. And that is most uncharacteristic for Bruce Lindsay.
Yes, it is, Kim. He's normally a very reliable kick at goal. State squad member, captain of the Eagles. Goal there would have put them only 3 points down and right back in this game. Plenty of emotion in this game for Peter Carey's 400s. Paul Weston mark. I was about to say the Bays were on top early, but certainly they've allowed West Torrens to get back into this game. 4 goals to the Eagles, now a 15-metre penalty. Brings Weston up to centre wing. It was the Bays who did all the attacking in the first half of this game, but so far in the third term, the Eagles have been well forward. Weston's kick towards centre-half forward. Taylor flying high early was Saul, but he should have been a push in the back. Christensen pushes the ball in. Grenville, Dietrich couldn't mark the ball. Now an opportunity for Footy. Snaps around his body. It's gone through. The Eagles trail by only 3 points. They're on the way back. That's David Foot's second goal. His first was a beauty, and that one was not much worse.
2 absolutely magical goals by David Foot in this quarter. The first was the better, but I tell you, that was a beauty, that one. And in my book, Taylor deserved a free kick, but it was David Foot who seized upon the crumbs after Christensen kicked the ball forward. And he broke his way, shrugged off the tackle and snapped around his body, and we've got a game of football here at the Bay Oval.
Only 3 points the difference. The crowd warming to this game. Ball goes to ground. Carey versus Lindsay. It was Lindsay with the tap. Carey, however, came out with the kick. It went high. Weston underneath that one tried to gather it in. Pisani for West Torrens. The Eagles are much more desperate now. Hodgson coming into this game at centre forward. Salisbury thrown the ground, but he's given away a 15-metre penalty. Well, I thought Hodgson was off. Salisbury had no alternative.
David, I didn't think he was off. I was sure he was off, and Michael Abbott's made some atrocious decisions in this game.
Yes, should have been holding the ball. The Eagles have the breaks. Forward goes Hodgson. Good defensive mark taken there by Winton. He now plays on across to Ross Gibbs, finding plenty of space. Gibbs drives to the outer. Maynard on the lead. Eichner's there for the Eagles. Now and was held by Maynard. No free kick. Opportunity for Woodlands to push the ball forward for Kernahan, who had his head taken off. Play on. Kernahan short. Out wide is Cruz. Weston's done a very good job on Cruz today. The base centre-half forward's been quiet. Now a long torpedo punt. It's a booming kick into the forward line. Up as Marshall. He has the mark. No, he hasn't. He couldn't bring it down. Holding the man. Free kick. It's going the way of Craig Woodlands. Marshall should have had the mark. Woodlands, who already has 3, earned the kick the hard way. Bottom of the pack. Now from only 15 metres out, directly in front of goal, Craig Woodlands will surely bring up his 4th goal. He has 9 points to lead to the Bays. A little bit of breathing space for them as they go to 10 goals 9, leading West Torrens on 9 goals 6. Well, Woodlands, 3 to Craig Budarick. The major scorers there. Kevin Taylor has 3 for West Torrens and Grenville Dietrich has 3. So there's some good forward work happening by both sides. Again, Carey and Lindsay go at it. Carey got the tap down. Paul Weston, 2 great champions combining for different sides. Ross Gibbs, the Iceman, paddles the ball in front of him. He was held when not in possession by Christensen. Now Salisbury tackled. Is that holding the ball? It is. Bruce Lindsay applied the tackle on Salisbury. Salisbury's looked out of salts today. Lindsay, long into the forward line. Hodson's there, used his body. Punched away from him, now picking it up Smallford. He has a shot at goal. Has it gone through? It has. Goal umpire waiting for a decision, and all clear. No, he said it was a mark. So Grenville stole the ball on the goal line and has the mark. Now out of defence go the Tigers. There was confusion reigning on that occasion. Eichner got to his feet quickly. Kernahan got the ball forward. Both sides going at this game hammer and tongs. Both lost their last 2. 7th plays 8th. McDermott forward, over the heads of a pack of players. Harper comes running out of defence for the Eagles, looking for Enright. Bumped away from him well by McDermott. Now Weston playing a top game to Fotia. Forward, Taylor and Hodson under that for West Torrens, but firm in defence is Jeff Winton for the Bays.
Well, Winton's been given the job of applying the screws on Hodson. Hodson's been a good player today. Tell you, Winton doesn't mind mixing it. He's a pretty tough boy. Now the kick towards McTavish. He plays on quickly after marking. Oh, McDermott's been left all by himself. He's got an absolute panic. Decides to drive long. Weston's back there. Marshall's got the sit, but Weston takes a fine mark. Oh, the former Glenelg captain. Instructing his players to lead, to move, to give him something to kick to. Drives long. Out there is Geyer. Morphin, in fact, it was. Couldn't take it. Foot got a kick away. Kernahan's out there after that. So too is Fotia. And I think both players will be content to let that ball go over the boundary line.
Yes, Kim, Paul Weston doing a great job in defence for the Eagles. Certainly held their defence together today. Number 5, Big Super Carey. The old hand versus the young lion. Carey it was who got the tap down to Maynard. Maynard's kick found nobody. Enright intercepted for West Torrens. On to Weston, kick forward, Hodson. Hodson left foot, has given Taylor plenty of space in which to move. If he picks up the ball, he can blast at goals. That's what he's done. It's offline, however, and through for one behind. 3 goals, 3, Kevin Taylor, and that's one that he should have got.
Well, if we'd kicked a goal then, or I shouldn't say that, if the Torrens had kicked the goal then...
You're not very biased, Tim, are you?
No, that was terrible, wasn't it? The Bays could have counted themselves unlucky because Hodson got that ball off the umpire's feet.
Now, that kick from Ross Gibbs has almost hit the centre. That must have travelled the best part of 65 metres. Kim Dillon certainly embarrassed, showing his bias in this game. Grenville Dietrich up and he's marked, the big fellow. It's a good mark to Grenville. Already has 3 goals, 2 in the first, 1 in the second. He's had very limited opportunities up forward. He's out-bodied Donovan. Prawns gave Donovan the task of minding Grenville. Now he places it wide to Appleton. Gavin Appleton, recruited from Woodville, the former Moonta boy. Recruited for only $2,000 to the Eagles, so certainly a good buy. Deep in the forward pocket, 30 metres out from goal. The angle is quite acute. Deliberately lines up the goal. hasn't made the distance, however. Big pack develops in the goal square, off hands, through for one behind.
62 plays 69. And this game has certainly picked up since the first half. Gibbs again tries another screw punt, gets plenty of distance. Foot couldn't control it. Marshall took it off hands brilliantly, gave it over to McDermott. He can run right up the centre of the ground. Kicks in long. Back there is Harper. So too Budarick. Oh, he sat underneath that one. Courageous effort by Craig Budarick. I hadn't seen much of this chap, but by gee, he's impressed us today. He can mark. He's a beautiful kick. He's also kicked 3 goals to date. Make that 4. Very relaxed kicking style. The Tigers now move on to 11 goals, 9, 75 points. Just opening up a little bit of breathing space against the Eagles, who are on 9-8.
Those last 2 goals from Craig Woodlands and Craig Budarick have been the steadier for the Bays. Budarick has been sensational with 4 goals. Craig Woodlands also has 4. They're the 2 men up forward that have done the damage.
Carey and Lindsay, it doesn't look like either player is going to have a rest off the ball. The ball comes down towards Maynard. He hooks that one back in the direction of Enright. He couldn't control it. Kicks the ball in front of him. Paddled it towards Christensen. Back to Enright. Scooped it forward to Weston. Now it's finally been well taken by Woodlands as he passed it out towards McDermott. And in turn has given that ball to Budarick again. Well, the Torrens players were content to just push the ball and paddle it forward. Craig Woodlands took the ball by the horns and fed out a superb handball. And there's another goal. That's 5 goals to Craig Budarick. He certainly is the key to this game at the moment. Final quarter about to start at the Bay Oval. The Tigers led by 15 points at the first quarter, 14 points at half-time, and now lead by 19 points. As we see, Paul Weston has made some moves. David Foote starting in the middle of the ground. And that mark's been taken by Enright. He feeds out to Harper. Harper drives long looking for Hodgson. He spoils with a big fist away. Salisbury leads in the chase before Taylor. Footy are in there. Taylor still looking for holding the ball decision. He's finally won it. Oh, Salisbury not happy. He's given Laurie Argent a big raspberry. And now we see Taylor kicks into the man on the mark. That's a bad mistake. Hodgman, he nearly did that well. Held back on that ball, taken by Kernahan. Drives long, Enright one-on-one. He wins the spoil. Weston in there, out the back to it. Oh, miraculous effort to bring that back round his body, but the mark's been taken by Kenny Hodgman.
Paul Weston's played a great game today at centre half-back. Probably his best game for the Eagles. It's joining them from Essendon last season. Cruz forward. Robson from behind, spectacular, but he's given away a free kick. There's been a push in the back. In fact, it was Seabohm who gave away the free kick. It's going the way of coach Paul Weston. Weston with a long torpedo punt to centre half forward. Salisbury from behind couldn't mark it. Now he gathers in the ball. He got off a quick handball. Bruce Lindsay tried to burst his way through. Fotia around his body. Good eyes, good vision. And Baker has the mark at centre half forward for the Eagles. Keith started the game in a back pocket. Budarick gave him a hiding. Now short to Hodgson. Ross Gibbs needed to be a little bit careful on that occasion. Hodgson had the ground and Ross Gibbs jumped into him as he took the mark. Hodgson being told to come around on the mark. He's only 15 metres out. 13-10 Glenelg, 10 goals, 9 West Torrens. They trail by 19 points. As Greg Hodgson, if he can goal this, can bring the deficit back to 13 points. He already has 1 goal. He lines them up deliberately right through the middle. The Eagles are back within 13 points of the Bays, and this could be a great last quarter.
Oh, it certainly could be, David. That was magnificent play by young Fodia. That had class written all over it, that kick, when he centred the ball back. Then Hodgson ran down the ground. He was left unchecked. He managed to get away by, if we can pick up who's standing in, It still appears to be Winton. Yes, he's shaking his head. He's not happy. He let Hodgson sneak away from him. And the big chap who's had such a fine game made no mistake to post his second goal.
Hodson's given the Eagle half-forward line some bite since coming onto the Oval late in the first term. Chris Lindsay with the tap. Maynard tried to get a kick away, spoiled by Bruce Lindsay. Baker over the top of the ball for West Torrens, the number 11 player. Laurie Argent forced to ball it up. Umpires today, Laurie Argent and Michael Abbott, done a pretty good job, regardless of what Scotty Salisbury has to say. Argent puts the ball to ground. Chris Lindsay from behind, the thump forward. Maynard leads in the race for that ball. Now has players leading down forward. He ignores Woodlands, goes over his head. Seabohm, Robson thumps it away, out of play. Good work for Lee Robson. He's done a fine job today on John Seabohm. He's been one of the Eagles' better defenders.
It would appear in the moves that the Eagles have made that Keith Baker, who's playing on a forward flank, or centre half forward, in fact, he's opposed to Michael Murphy as Weston got that one to Harper. Harper gets a clearing kick down towards Baker. He received the push in the back, play on the call. Maynard in there, pressured by Lindsay, well tackled. McTavish, Kernahan, Lindsay off the turf. This allows Baker. Baker on to Taylor. He's got a sixth sense, Taylor. He just knows when people are about to swoop on him. He slipped over when he kicked it. Now it's Winton opposed to Hodgson, picked up by Footy. Handball over towards Baker. The backman has a shot for goal. He's baked it through the middle. Well, there's only 7 points the difference here at the Bay Oval, and this game has come alive as Baker kicks his first. And the Eagles move on to 12 goals, 9. Glenelg 13-10, and it's been great football.
We've only played 5 minutes into the final quarter, and Keith Baker, who had a horror start to the game on Craig Budarick. Budarick kicked 2 early goals. He missed an easy third and could have done some great damage. Now has brought the Eagles back to within 7 points, and the Eagles are back in this game with a chance.
Hodgson playing on a half-forward flank. Baker roaming around at centre half-forward. Foots into the middle. He's opposed to McDermott. He's ruck roving. McTavish roving against Christensen. And Lindsay playing in the middle. The Eagles have made moves. Chris Lindsay with a big tap down to Bruce Lindsay. The Eagles go into attack again. Back there, Grenbold. He's tackled by Morford. Salisbury has the ball out. The Christensen over the table. There should be another one. He's pumped it through for his third goal. And in fact, it's his 4th goal. And there's 1 point the difference. And this game has absolutely come alive here at Glenelg Oval as the Torrens supporters go wild.
Oh, aren't they going wild? Kevin Taylor's 4th. The Eagles have 3 quick goals in the first 6 minutes of this final quarter to bring themselves within 1 point of the Bay. And it's been Bruce Lindsay in the centre who's been getting the ball out this crucial quarter. David Foote's gone to the centre, and I think Chris Lindsay, with just slightly fresher, younger legs than Peter Carey, is still jumping high off the ground.
Well, the Bay supporters are starting to rally. They want Big Super to lift in his 400th. As Lindsay gets another tap. Down to Maynard. That's holding the ball if ever I've seen one. Gee, had his arm.
Well, he had him pulled backwards and an arm pinned. He certainly had no opportunity of getting rid of that, Maynard, and I think that's why Laurie Argent has called for a ball up.
Fair enough. Lindsay again. Big punch forward. Down to Hodgson. Taylor at the back of the pack. So too Maynard. Winton in there. Desperate work by Peter Maynard. He's a fine player, Peter Maynard. He's been a great recruit. In actual fact, it was West Torrens that brought Maynard over here from Melbourne. The Glenelg side saw the opportunity to grab him, and it was good work by their administrators because he's been a magnificent player for the club.
Maynard with the kick forward. Weston's underneath that one. He's been superb at centre half back. Geyer shoots off a long handball to Pisani, who got a big great bounce. Allows McDermott in. He can only get away a quick handball. Cruz, tunnel ball. Marshall stole it, bounce. He'll go through half forward and line up the goals. That's the way he goes. Seabohm's dropping back on it, and Seabohm has the mark. So the Bays will have a steadier if Seabohm can get this one. He already has 2 goals, 2 today. The 7-minute mark of the final term, with Glenelg leading by only a point. John Seabohm has an opportunity of giving them just a little bit of breathing space. That's exactly what he's done. Goal number 3, Seabohm. Good work to the Bays, and it was Marshall stealing that ball through half forward who created the space.
Well, there we saw, David, the advantage of playing the ball on quickly. Marshall's a thinker, there's no doubt about that. He's one of the class players in South Australian football. He kicked the ball in long. Robson was caught too far away from Seabohm, and John Seabohm does not miss goals from 5 metres out.
4 goals in in 7 minutes is pretty tidy football. That's the Bays first for the quarter. They now have only a 7-point advantage. This game has certainly turned out to be one of the enthralling battles of the year. It's had everything from the opening bounce, Peter Carey's 400th club game. He ran through a magnificent banner. Tribute to the only champion, captain of captains, Super Carey, 400 club games. It was a magnificent tribute to the champion. As Maynard goes forward, intercepted for the Torrens side by Eichner. He started the game on a wing, now at half-back as Marshall chips in and marks. It has been quiet, Marshall, but now coming into the game. Forward, Woodlands dropped the mark. Harper picks up the crumbs. The kick is high, but not well thought, unfortunately. Baker came through and did the punch away. McTavicks, the crumbs, short. Robson out again. He's been strong from full back. Enright will need to get a quick kick forward. Underneath that one, Taylor, he dropped it. Winton fell over. Shot off the handball to Murphy. Murphy's been strong in defence. Cruz, under pressure from Enright, stood his ground courageously and has a good mark. He looks to play on. That's exactly what he's done. In the forward pocket was Woodlands, under pressure from Harper. He plays on. Can he put it through? He can't. It's offline, however, and through for one behind. And had Woodlands been able to score that, he would have got 5 for the day. Been a damaging forward.
Certainly is a good player, Craig Woodlands. Served his apprenticeship in the Glenelg Juniors. Always shown a lot of promise. A damaging player around the goals. There's 8 points in this game, and it's an absolute beauty. Full punch forward by Schwarz and again by Lindsay, but it's all in fact, I think Taylor might get there first, does so. Handball over to Pisani, he's in trouble. Had to get past 2 players. Now the ball comes back towards McTavish. In turn, Cruz gets around, he lost his footing. Oh, well done, the big chap. In fact, that's great play. Over to Carey. Carey in turn to Maynard. He shrugs off the tackle, got past Eichner, past Wester. Snap shot otherwise at the post. Peter Maynard, he can't believe it. This game's an absolute ripper.
Well, it certainly developed that way. It was the perseverance of Cruz who got the ball forward. Carey, with calm head, got it over to Maynard. He fought his way around 3 Torrens defenders, and a goal there would have been fitting. Hit the post, unfortunately, for the Bays. Now the Eagles. Chris Lindsay, another strong mark. He's done a good job against Carey today.
In fact, David, that's his 9th or 10 mark, so the young fella, he's played a pretty good game. The ball comes in long. Hodgson with the spoil. Down towards Salisbury. The boundary very close. Salisbury with a slick handle back to Kernahan. He's tackled by Morfitt. The ball goes over the line, right in front of our commentary position. And really, even though there's been a lot of hype and a lot of talk about this game because of Peter Carey, the football in the first half was pretty ordinary. But by geez, this game livened up.
Yes, it has. It was Footy who got the left foot forward. Salisbury out, dives and takes a good mark. He's played all day in defence, Salisbury. He had it rough early. Certainly now making his mark felt. Place to Hodgman in front of Enright. Hodgman has Seabohm on the lead. That's the way he goes. Harper from behind did the spawning work. In fact, it's Jim West now onto the field. Fresh legs. West has spent all day on the boundary. Now onto the field. He plays on quickly, goes towards the goal square. Underneath that one, unattended. Craig Budarick mark. Now Budarick has kicked 5 goals, 2 in the first and 3 goals in the third. He missed one from point-blank range late in the first term, so he could easily have 6. He has 6 on the board now, so it could easily have been 7. 6 goals to Craig Budarick. Great performance.
Yes, it was the Bays by 29 points after West Torrens certainly ran them very close earlier in the quarter. Budarick got 7 for the Bays, Woodlands 4 and Seabohm 3. And for West Torrens, Kevin Taylor booted 4, Dietrich 3, Morfitt, Hodgson and Foote got 2 each. Well, it was a pretty exciting day down there, and I happen to know that they're still celebrating down at Tigerland at the moment. I got an invite from the vice presidents to go down, but unfortunately I have to work tonight, so Soup, I just can't get down to have a drink with you, but great effort, well done. And after the game, it was Super Carey, in fact, who spoke with David Mackay.
Pete, first of all, congratulations on your 400th club game for Glenelg. It must have been a relief to have won.
Oh, certainly. It was a hard game. I don't think either side probably played their best footy, and It was just a matter of us persevering a bit harder at the finish.
And how does it feel knowing that you're the first person in South Australia to play 400 games for the one club?
I've tried to take it pretty casually, to be honest, but after running out in that oval was, it was the greatest moment I've probably ever experienced. Seeing the grandstand and all the people cheering was certainly a very emotional moment.
In about 3 or 4 weeks, you'll have an opportunity of breaking Kevin Bartlett's Australian record for club games. Are you looking forward to that one as well?
Not really, David. I've just sort of set myself to play 400. I've made that. What happens in the future now, I just want to win a few games, get in the finals and play in another premiership side.
Simple as that. Graham...
it ain't that easy, Pete.
No, it isn't, is it? We spoke last week about Torrens and I guess their performance today supported what you said last week, that there's something there.
Well, they're not far away, are they? And any side that can push Glenelg at the Bay Oval, OK, the Bays have played at home twice this year. They inflicted a 30 goals to 17 defeat upon West Adelaide, and this is their second game of the year on their home turf. They're very hard to beat down there. They play the Oval to perfection, and Torrens are to be commended for serving right up to them. 10 minutes to go, they were right in it, right up to their necks. OK, the last 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they fell away a little bit. That was to be expected, I believe, on the day of days for Peter Carey, that the Bay players would really drag it out, and they did.
Yeah, they certainly did. So, well done, Super Carey. Well done, Glenelg, and Torrens not far away. After the break, we'll have a look at the game from the Parade, Norwood and Woodville.